Welcome into a brand new episode of WSI TV. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back for an all-new episode of WSI TV. I'm Sean Bauer, with me is Jordan Bishop, and as we come up on this holiday season, we want to make sure you guys have your gifts. Not only can you go ahead and hit subscribe right now to subscribe to our YouTube channel, WSI TV, where you're getting all of this content week in and week out. You can also head over to WSITV.com. You just plug in your name and your email there, subscribe, and you get instant access to the WSI vault, full of all kinds of money-making information there.
Yeah, there's some great stuff there. You know, articles Sean and I have both written, all the secrets of the stock market. You know, even things we don't talk about on the WSI TV episodes. You know, some great content there again. You know, so make sure you claim that because it's sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah, again, head over to WSITV.com and you can do that right now for free. But of course, we also have some great content lined up for you. Today in this episode, we're going to get into some of Warren Buffett's words of wisdom, how to turn that into cash in your pocket. But right now, we want to go back to the basics. Again, this is a new segment we want to sort of introduce, especially for anyone out there who's a beginner. If you have some more experience, a lot of times it's just going to be a nice review, but just a short section at the beginning of some of these episodes.
Right, something very important to anybody who wants to get involved in the stock market is the market hours, of course, because the stock market, and more specifically profiting from the stock market, is all about timing, right? So there's certain hours you can't trade. You know, I mean, you know you can't trade on the weekend, but there are week hours that you can't trade, which means that you need to make your move in a certain set amount of time, and that is between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern. The market, of course, opens at 9:30 a.m. and closes at 4 p.m. Eastern, so any action you do has to be between those times.
Yeah, I mean, this is whenever you're going to see that real stock movement. A lot of times, some news may push stock prices up or down in the dead periods when the market's not open, but you'll see those prices reflected in the morning at 9:30 a.m. So again, just the market opens at 9:30 a.m., closes at 4 o'clock p.m. That is Eastern time. But we also wanted to just highlight the holiday schedule for you with Christmas coming up. So December 25th, the market is closed, and then again for New Year's Day, Monday the 1st, is going to be closed as well.
Yeah, completely closed. You know, sometimes they'll close early if you know, if Christmas Eve or something like that were to fall on a weekday. But of course, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve are both weekends this year. So yeah, they're closed that Monday, the 25th, and Monday the 1st. So any action you need to, you know, get in or get out of, make sure you do that before those closing days if that's what you're aiming to make your move.
Yeah, so just mark those dates down on your calendar right now. Make sure you are getting all that information in, getting all your moves done. But that's really it for this version of Back to the Basics. Now we're going to move on to, again, a guy everybody knows, and Warren Buffett. He's made all of this money, but along the way, he's continuing to impart some of his wisdom onto us. We just want to translate some of this for you. I guess put our own little spin on it as well, because this is going to be putting money directly in your pocket.
Right, and the reason we're bringing up Warren Buffett right now is because Berkshire Hathaway, his company, their A-class stock has just passed, what, $300,000 a share, which is insane. You know, I mean, buying one share of that will cost you about as much as a house right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, congratulations to Warren Buffett. But obviously he's got his methods in place, and just because he's such a a wealthy guy, he's very humble, and he does like to bring his wisdom to his followers, to his fans. So we just want to run through a few of his very famous quotes here and tell you why they matter to you.
Yeah, so the first one is going to be, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Obviously, he's talking about investing here. The big risk comes whenever you're just listening to somebody just say something about a stock on TV. Maybe they say, you know, Apple looks good right now. Well, you don't know a thing about Apple. You don't know what price the stock is right now, what the chart looks like. You just jump in on Apple. That's where the risk comes in, when you don't know what you're doing. On the flip side of that, you just have confidence and a severe lack of risk whenever you're using a system that works and sticking to it religiously.
Right, and in our systems that we teach you, you know, week in and week out, you know, and our other trading techniques, it comes with inherent limited risk.
Yeah.
So we limit the downside, which means your risk is very limited. And basically, by understanding the system, that's you knowing what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you think about Apple as a company. If you know that stock is moving technically in a certain way, that merits knowing what you're doing. So you know what you're doing, therefore you are limiting the risk on that trade.
Yeah, as always, the chart tells us everything we need to know. That's how we're limiting risk. So yeah, just heed this advice from this first quote as we move on to the second, which is rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Again, just another timeless Buffett classic. Obviously it's straightforward, never lose money. But how are we going to do this, Jordan?
Right. I personally love this one because it's you first look at it and it's like duh, like never lose money. But how do you do that? You do that by using a stop loss, which we talk about very often. You using a stop loss correctly by moving it the right way means you never lose your profits again. As long as you lock in those gains. Therefore, you are not losing money. And in rule number 2, you're listening to rule number 1 and not losing that money. So
yeah, again, use a stop loss in every single trade you make, no matter what. And for those of you who don't know, this is just a tool that's used to automatically close you out if the price dips to a certain point that you select. So again, that's how you lock in profits. Never lose your profits again. That's just a token taken from the second quote from Buffett. And then on to the third quote, if you will, Jordan.
Yeah, the third one, opportunities come in frequently. When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble. Now this one is, it's got many meanings to it. But obviously what Buffett's saying here is, when it rains, it pours, and when it rains profits, you might as well take as much advantage of that as you can and not limping in on a trade that is a certain thing or a close to certain thing.
Yeah, and we take this a couple of different ways. The first is you can add to a successful position, okay, which goes against human nature a lot of times, where the opposite of just taking profit is what you want to do. You're actually adding more to that position as it climbs. But if something is proven that it's a strong stock, that it's going the right way with the right trend, that's something that's probably going to continue to do so. And if you see a successful trade on, keep adding to it. If you're striking gold, just again, get out the bucket and not the thimble.
Right, exactly. And just to reiterate a little bit, if you're using the stepping technique, the stepping stock, the boxes, some know this as the Darvish technique, but we teach this over and over again. Basically, you're looking for boxes in the stock market. Once the stock enters into that next box, add to that position, because it's not often that these ripe opportunities come around, and you can make some real money off of it when you keep adding to that position, and taking all you can from it.
Yeah, absolutely. In addition to Warren Buffett, that's how some of our favorite traders made fortunes in the stock market. Finding something that works, finding this bit of gold, and then again, like Buffett says, getting out your bucket instead of your thimble, adding to that position over and over for bigger and bigger profits. Those mount up quickly. That turns into just money in your pocket, just from a few bits of wisdom from Warren Buffett. So take that, again, let that digest for a second. Make sure you're using a stop loss. Make sure you're using all of these little tokens of information in your own trades. But for now, as we close this out, we do want to say, once again, you can head over to WSITV.com, subscribe for free. You'll get some free gifts from us right away. That's stuff you deserve, obviously, for being here. And also be on the lookout for our special Christmas episode. We're excited about that one coming out, again, on December 25th, Christmas Day. Whenever you have some downtime, go ahead and check it out. We're going to have some good stuff in there for you in that episode. But for now, again, we will sign off. We want to say thank you for watching, and we'll speak to you next time. Cheers.
Thanks for watching the latest episode of WSI TV. Be sure to visit WSITV.com, where you can subscribe for free with no contract and gain instant access to the secrets of self-made millionaires via the WSI TV Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at WSITV.com.